Story 1. Am I the a-hole for asking my coworker what would happen if I drank her breast milk? My 20 female coworker Kate had a baby a little while ago, and in the break room during lunch yesterday, she was talking about breastfeeding. During the conversation, I asked Kate, "Hey, so what would happen if I were to drink your breast milk?" Kate said, "Excuse me?" I did realize that it sounded like a weird question when you didn't hear the train of thought leading up to it, so I tried to explain myself and said, "I mean, is it okay because your baby is related to you, but I get sick because I don't have your same bacteria?" Kate didn't answer me, but our other coworker Lauren then said, "Well, it can't be that that's how it works because then wet nurses wouldn't have been a thing." I never heard of a wet nurse and asked Lauren, "What's that?" Lauren said, "It's when you hire a nanny who had a baby at the same time as you so that she can also breastfeed your baby for you, but it's like an old-timey thing." So at this point, Kate said, "You guys are being D's," and left. I find out today that she's telling people that me and Lauren were making fun of her about breastfeeding. So I don't understand why Kate would have been uncomfortable with the first way I asked the question because yes, that was kind of a stupid way to say it, but I don't really understand how she thinks I was making fun of her at all after that. Am I the a-hole? I mean, you're not an a-hole. No, absolutely not. Are you... Do you maybe need to work on social interactions when it's in regard to more private parts of people's bodies and stuff like that? Perhaps. That would be very shocking to just suddenly hear, like, what would happen if I drank your breast milk? Like, that's the kind of question that you expect to hear from a total creeper. So, weird question to just throw at somebody, but I do understand your line of thinking because if anyone's confused, a lot of babies gain some, like their immune system is helped by breast milk because they get immunities or something from the mom. I don't know. It helps inoculate them or something. I don't know all the medical terms. I'm not a specialist on this, but that is where this line of thinking is coming from. So I totally get it, but definitely, like, have some preamble leading up to it. As far as her saying that you guys are being, jerks about this and are making fun of her, I mean, I would just confront her and say, I'm really sorry. It was just a weird science question. I'm not trying to make fun of you whatsoever. It was weird and I blurted it out in a dumb way. Just talk to the person. Story 2. Boss from hell gets what she deserves. I, 30s female, have been a people pleaser to a fault my whole life. I've been working in marketing for 10 plus years. Over the years, I've had my fair share of bosses who were good, average, and some who sucked. This is one in particular that stood out as awful. The story is from about 5 plus years ago. Pamela, 40s, not real name, was the VP of marketing and sales for a mid-sized retailer. She started at the company a few years after I did. And if rumors were true, she was the 4th pick for the position and was simply hired so the company could appease shareholders. I was a manager under her, and my whole job was to make sure the website and stores had their products merchandised properly, received all their monthly sales materials, managed advertising, set up and managed the department's budget, PM'd all department projects and operations, created reporting to reflect sales, managed presentations/creative briefs for future projects, etc. In short, I did her work and all the administrative grunt work to keep the department afloat. I managed all this because I had access to her email and many times sent emails on her behalf to keep the department functioning. Pamela spent most of her time showing up at 10 a.m., taking business lunches, and planning company parties. Don't even know why we did those, but I planned those too. I consistently questioned why she spent so much of our budget on these events when we didn't have the budget resources for any of it. Pamela told me to take from future months' budgets to pay the current month's overspending. So at the start of every month, I had an original budget, and by the end of the month, I had to turn it into an edited budget, edited under Pamela's direction, that made it look like Pamela's spending was under control. This is important for later. I definitely made mistakes here and there, being in charge of so many tasks and constantly found myself working 12-hour days split between being in the office and working after my kid went to bed. Weekend work was also done before my family woke up and after they went to bed. During Pamela's first major holiday season, sales were crap. Pamela kept changing her mind on the visuals for the stores, kept bringing on new advertising and PR agencies to bring in sales. Well, these agencies consisted of her personal friends, and ignored our buying/merchandise team's planned promotions for her own better ones. At this time, I've been dealing with an ongoing infection that turned to sepsis and was hospitalized. The doctors and my husband said it was due to the stress of work and that I needed to take a break. As I recovered, I realized how much I was hurting myself, my family, and even the company I worked for. Eventually, my old habits got to me, and I got on my phone and checked mine and my boss's emails. What I found made my blood boil. First, I got a lovely bouquet of flowers from upper management wishing me well, and I knew that Pamela organized the delivery. She sent me her favorite flowers. I went to her inbox and put the receipt in the correct folder to send to accounting when I got back. At the top of her inbox from the past 3 days were emails clearly not related to business. What I found in her emails was Pamela emailed her personal friends griping on how I can't just shake off sepsis and get back to work. She also complained that she couldn't find any of my notes, spreadsheets, or documents for any of the work she was technically in charge of. They were on our shared drive labeled very clearly. Finally, I found an email where she sent a friend from a previous company asking for advice on how to bring in sales and save her job. In this long thread, this old colleague asked if there was anyone managing most of the work, and of course, Pamela said I was. This colleague explained that clearly it was my mismanagement that was causing issues, and that I could be blamed if sales didn't pull through by the end of the season. Pamela mentioned that I was in the hospital and repeated comments from her other email thread. This person said that she couldn't outright fire me because it could seem like retaliation because I needed to take emergency medical. But if Pamela could prove I was stealing from the company or misusing company resources, then she would have grounds to have me fired and use me as a scapegoat. Upon my return, Pamela called me into her office and said she was worried I was taking on too much and wanted to take work off my plate. She announced she was taking managing the department budget off my plate. She asked me to only drop off a small stack of invoices to accounting. Additionally, Pamela told me under no circumstances was I allowed to talk to accounting about anything regarding budgets. Also, if I had any concerns about the department or workload, I wasn't allowed to go to HR. I had to discuss it directly with Pamela. Oh yeah, I could see where this was going. Unfortunately for Pamela, I had built a rapport with Lois, 50's not real name, who was our main accountant. Lois always said that she would do everything in her power to help me should I ask. Knowing this, I grabbed the stack of invoices off Pamela's desk to give to accounting. I also added the email threads I read while I was in the hospital and the current unedited budget that Pamela hadn't touched yet for the month. I also found in my filing cabinet the hard copies of old budgets with Pamela's handwriting on what numbers to change to balance our budget. Finally, I added an email from our first round of budget adjustments where Pamela subtly threatened to put someone else in my job if I couldn't do what she asked. So, I walked and dropped off the invoices to accounting when I bumped into Lois. She brought up invoices and I sternly looked at her and said, Pamela is the only one in our department that Lois is allowed to talk to about our budget and invoices. Lois saw the suspiciously thick file folder on her desk, gave a firm nod, and lovingly kicked me out of her office. Within the week, Pamela was fired. From what I understand, she had been continually job hopping for the past few years. The CEO and HR brought me in to personally apologize for everything I went through and gave me a paid 1-week vacation to take at my discretion. Given other issues with this business, I left after another year. Which brings me to today. I am once again a manager for sales and marketing. I have a wonderful boss, Mike, 40s male, who trusts my business decisions and backs me up on practically everything. We are hiring my team for me to solely manage and direct. Today, I looked through my applicants and found Pamela's resume sitting among dozens of others. I stared at her name, wondering how many other people shared her name. Upon review, yep, it's her. She definitely fell down the corporate ladder, with VP of our old company being the highest title she earned, and to no surprise, she embellished her achievements, claiming the work I managed as her own, and claimed she generated an 87% sales growth during the holiday season at our previous company. As a people-pleaser who firmly believes in giving everyone a chance, it has never been so satisfying to click disqualify. There are a lot of just absolutely awful bosses and managers in the world, people who have gotten positions that do not deserve them at all and who are incapable of doing them properly, who just ride on the work of the people under them and claim it as their own. They are terrible. Terrible bosses everywhere. And it's not too often where you really get to hear a good come-up-in story for them. And this just makes my heart glow. It fills me with joy. I don't wish ill on Pamela over the course of her entire life. I hope that she learns from this and maybe tries to become a better person and actually puts in some work and, becomes someone that you would enjoy working with or even has a boss. But for now, Pamela needs to learn some lessons, and the lessons that she did learn, I am thrilled, and I wish the exact same to every Pamela out there. Story 3. Today, I effed up by breaking my date's arm. A few years ago, but here it is. Swiped on a girl on Tinder, didn't match yet. Her profile was memorable because I live in a small town and I didn't recognize her. Fast forward 2 hours and I go to work to clock in. My boss introduces me to the new girl. It's her. Since she either swiped left or hadn't seen it yet, I didn't want her to think I swiped on her after we met without just talking to her in person. My awkwardness got the best of me and I brought it up and we both had a laugh. We ended up going on a date snowboarding where she broke her arm in 4 places. I guess she'd never been snowboarding before. So I drove her down the mountain for 3 hours with a broken arm to the hospital where apparently her mother works. The x-ray tech thought we were dating and handed me the x-rays and asked if her mom knew she had nipple piercing. Hell, I didn't even know she had nipple piercing. Cue awkward moment with mom a few moments later. An 8-inch metal plate and several screws. I felt terrible, and I helped her with lots of things over the next few weeks while she was practically disabled, and we ended up dating for a few months. I really actually liked her a lot, but I joined the army and she ghosted me while I was in basic training, but that's another story. Okay, you title made it sound a lot worse than it actually was. It made it sound like you were like, I can karate chop so hard, watch this, ka-cha, and you broke her arm or something. But no, you took her snowboarding, and if she hadn't been before, that's not your fault. If you're like, hey, for a date, do you want to go snowboarding? Her reply should have been, I don't know how to snowboard. I feel like that one's on her. She had choices, she had options, and so, yeah, I wouldn't blame yourself for that one, and it sounds like you handled the situation wonderfully, so, yeah, but don't be hard on yourself. You did just fine. It kinda sucks about the getting ghosted in the army, but if you'd only been dating a few weeks or whatever, then, it's understandable. Story 4. I, 29 female, was nude during a Zoom lecture and didn't realize my camera was on. I, 29 female, am in a degree program in community college and they're still allowing students to do online classes via Zoom. I don't want to gas myself up and saying it's a prestigious degree program, it's effing community college, but alumni report that they work in impressive offices, so it is important to do well in this program. I wake up at around 5:30 a.m. to go to work and I work all day. I rush home to get on Zoom at 6:30 p.m. I was so tired that I forgot to check if the camera was on or off. It was on. I also, being that I just got off work, was looking forward to getting out of my awful work uniform. I had the lights off, so I didn't make a big deal about checking to see if the camera was on. Then I just chilled in the dark with no clothes on. I sat for about 45 minutes with no clothes on in front of the camera in the dark. I'm freaking out because the light of my laptop screen emits light so my classmates may or may not have seen me clearly. I hope it did not. I'm panicking. I am not that type of student. I am hoping no one was paying attention. I'm afraid to message my classmates and ask if they saw anything strange at the Zoom lecture today. I am not an exhibitionist. No one wants to see my low-hanging boobs. So since I'm panicking, I put on my tablet camera to see if I am at all visible. It isn't showing anything but my glow-in-the-dark nails. My skin is relatively dark, so I could be panicking for no reason. I just can't be too sure. This will serve as a lesson to always make myself decent before lecture. I usually do, I think most of us can relate to the feeling of taking off your bra after a long day. Also, taking classes from home was supposed to be a benefit in being that I don't have to stress about looking a certain way. I'm just writing this to say, if you saw me, I am so sorry, I really am. I'm not proud of the way I appeared on camera today. It will not happen again. First off, this is why, whenever I'm on any kind of program that can access cameras, I double and triple check to make sure, like, is my camera on or off? I have a camera where you can, like, turn it and it'll, like, close the little lens aperture thing or whatever, you know? So, and I double check everything, and I'm never naked in front of my camera. I always have something on, but sometimes it's like, I don't want people to see me in my delightful purple, you know, blancho. It's a blanket poncho. It's great. It's got a hole in it. But so, I don't know, folks, just be more paranoid like me. Always think that you're going to screw up, because if you are me, you usually do. It's a great way to go through life, is always worried that you're going to screw up. No negatives to feeling like that. Story 5. Today I effed up by opening my fiance's DMs. The wound is still fresh, so bear with me. I had a rough day and my fiance's algorithms are top notch. So I was scrolling through his apps to entertain myself, hoping to pick me up. He went to take a shower. I opened his Instagram, got bored with Reddit, so sorry, and noticed he had a couple new DMs. We don't snoop through each other's phones, but we don't hide anything either, or so I thought. So I clicked on them just to see if they were important, because he doesn't check Insta that often. Well, I see the DMs are from a deleted account, thus sparking my interest. So I click and I scroll. Messages go years back, maybe 20 to 30 messages total. Some wiki faces, some slightly intimate memes, and a few photos of lingerie. Nothing outright incriminating, but who is this B? My heart dropped. We're getting married in less than 5 months. These messages aren't okay. He's not a cheater. Never once have I questioned that, nor has he given me any reason to. I start to see red. I put on my big girl pants, wipe my tears, and storm into the bathroom. Rip open the shower curtain, revealing this idiot's, albeit glorious, naked body. He, though quite startled, raises an eyebrow and smirks. Looking to join, he says, "Wrong move, buddy." I go off, you know, like a bad A. He denies it, you know, like a liar. I hold his towel hostage and toss his phone so he can see for himself. He scrolls and pulls off this wildly confused demeanor. I literally see the blood leave his face. He just kind of says, stuttering, "Maybe I don't know?" We go back and forth. He swears up and down he has no idea who this could be. "I'm just as surprised as you are," he claims criminally. So I take his phone so I can quote this other woman for emphasis. I ready my best Valley Girl voice and scroll to the most recent received message. I notice for the first time, inconveniently so, a picture she sent of a guinea pig. I think, hell, I love guinea pigs. Then I remember, I have seen this guinea pig before. Then I realized, she is me. I deleted all my social media almost a year ago. Neither of us remembered any of the messages we sent. I started laughing and happy crying. My fiancé looks as if he just won the lottery and received the death penalty simultaneously. Now we sit, both recently showered, debating whether or not we should welcome a guinea pig into our family. I'm so embarrassed. He is so relieved. We are crazy, stupid, and so in love. There's a bunch of ways that I saw that story wrapping up, and I didn't expect that. Maybe I should have. I feel like plenty of you watching probably figured it out before I did. But that's a pretty cute story, but also maybe a good reason why sometimes if we think we've found something but we're not like 100% sure on stuff, we should have calmer discussions, because that fight could have blown up in ways that they maybe weren't prepared for and might have been kind of bad. But in the end, it all ended up being, you know, just harmless old messages. How do you not remember yourself sending some messages and stuff, huh? I guess if it's deleted, maybe it doesn't have the username anymore. I don't know. I don't do Instagram. You'll never find me on there. And if you do, who is that? Who's made Instagram for me? I don't know. Oh wait, no. Maybe I do, but I don't think I've used it. I don't know. See if you can find it. And if I've posted a picture. I don't think I have. Maybe it's ruminate. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.